Hello friends, this is Otz, and this is a match of Trapper that I played a couple days ago on the RPD. Not too far into the match, I managed to get my first down, and I hooked this Yui into the library hook. I then reset the strap and put the strap right here. And already at this point, a little over a minute into the game, I already know that I'm going to win this match pretty much 100%. And it's not because the survivors were bad or they gave up or anything. In fact, they actually played pretty well. They popped 2 gens, they were actually trying as a team to get to their teammate, but it didn't really matter. She's gonna hit stage 2 without anyone being able to hit her, and there's almost nothing that they can do. If we fast forward a few minutes, we can see that the survivors have done pretty well. They've gone down to their last generator, but it doesn't matter. The last one, they are never going to be able to complete, and one by one they go down, and as predicted, this match ends in a victory. None of this happened because I did anything skillful. None of this happened because of a major flaw from their plan or anything like that. It all happened because this map is fundamentally broken. Any killer with an insta-down or traps can create this situation, and survivors, if they get into it, have a really hard time coming out. There's arguably only one thing that they can do, and I bet most survivors don't really know how to coordinate enough to pull it off. I'm going to explain how to get out of the situation in case it ever happens to you. But first, let's go over the history of the RPD map and why this can happen in the first place. Now, some of you might not know or might not remember that when the first Resident Evil chapter came out, the RPD was not split into 2 maps. It was instead one singular entity. It was very, very big and difficult to navigate, especially if you didn't play the games and had the layout memorized. If you had, it was a little bit easier because it is such a faithful representation to the RPD, but this came with some issues. For example, some of the corridors were extremely narrow, leading to situations where a killer could just body block you and you couldn't get to your teammates. There were also a lot of pallets that were not really fun gameplay, no room for mind games, survivors drops them, you have to pretty much break them on the spot. It was really awkward to navigate this map. If, for example, you played against a pig and you had to remove a head trap from you, well, going around the map collecting the boxes was pretty much mission impossible. By the time you were on your 3rd box, your timer had already expired. It really took this long to get around the map. And that's not even talking about some of the individual rooms. Some of the individual rooms in this map were also very problematic. Perhaps the most infamous one was the library. It had a 3rd floor. The hatch could spawn here, by the way, for some reason. And survivors could make themselves unhookable by going to the spot and dying there with certain perks that pretty much broke the game for a while. Then the developers made a change, but then we had another problem where the killer could hook someone and then camp the stairs and block them and you couldn't get to your teammates. It was a bit of a clown fiesta, and thankfully for the release of the 2nd Resident Evil chapter, the developers realized this problem and they split the map in 2. The map would keep the whole center and then be focused a little bit more on the east and the west side, making it a little bit less huge and easier to balance. This, in theory, should have been the end of it, but there were still some issues. Now, some of the issues of the original map still remain in both variants, but it's going to be a lot easier if I just show you. Let's imagine that at the very start of the game, I find a group of 4 survivors right here in this middle. The problem for me as an, let's say, average killer with no mobility is that no matter where I push them, they can all split up in different directions and all at the same time be safe. If they take a left, they have a guaranteed pallet here that can give them a bit of safety. And if they have a little bit of distance, they could then begin to chain into this window, and sometimes a pallet here that can be quite strong. But this is definitely the weakest option out of all of them. If they go away from me straight away, they have a window here which they can use to proc life and maybe avoid a hit for a little bit. And no matter which of the 2 pallets they get, this one or the one there, they're gonna have a very strong pallet in this room that they will be able to chain with some of the other strong pallets that you see there in the distance. If they run up instead with a little bit of distance, they could go down here and find, again, very strong pallets that are guaranteed to be in one of 2 places. Or if they have a little bit of distance, they could also come here and drop this pallet, which for most killers is a necessity to break right away. So we're not very lucky here either. If they go into the library, they could also use a pallet to save a little bit of time. And that might not be the best, but it can lead them to the most difficult part of the whole map for you, which is this whole corner over here. They have strong pallets here, there. They can go down and find some strong pallets down there as well. The problem is that even if you down someone here in a timely manner, you're gonna have a really hard time accessing the other parts of the map. Now, this wouldn't be such a big deal. After all, this is the West Wing, right? So you expect the West Wing to be somewhat big, but in order to compensate, the East Wing, the part with the helicopter, should be smaller. But is it smaller? Well, when we go up on the second floor, it generally does feel like this map is a little bit smaller on this side. For example, here, they don't get to go to the helicopter. This is a bit of a dead corner. These pallets are not that amazing. There's a couple of them. This one can buy them a bit of time, but this isn't super amazing. But if we see a little minimap, you will see that even on this small part of the map, they still have this entire outer corridor available to them. Now, for killers with mobility or teleport, this isn't such a big deal. But for killers that don't have mobilities or crazy teleports, this is a massive deal. I'm gonna play you in the background a little footage from a video from 2 days ago where I pre-run a pick on this, and I could run here in circles for a long time. It takes so long for them to catch up. So that means that on the RPD West, as a killer, you don't have any good place to start your first chases or to commit to a chase. Any chase you commit to could be really bad without a little bit of mistakes or element of surprise. As we've explained, this side has lots of safe pallets and also has a bit of a run in circles aspect to it. And even though this side is smaller, it also has this outer path, making it also possible to run in circles and pre-run so that slower killers don't really catch up to you. This really doesn't lead to fun gameplay, in my opinion, at all. And yet, this is not the map that has the problems. The map that has the real problems is the RPD East Wing. Let's get to it. So the first thing that we're gonna notice loading into the East Wing is that we actually have a better balance. We don't have two sides, both of which are big. We actually have a smaller side and then one that is pretty big. As we can see, there's no longer an awkward corner in this part of the map. We have a whole new section with some really strong pallets and loops, high bots. That pallet right there, for example, is really strong. And these ones here are not too bad either. We still have the path on the side that doesn't really change, but all of this is a little better because on the west side, we actually don't have a lot. We are going to have typically 3-4 pallets. This one can or cannot spawn. This one will always be here. Then there's one in this little room that I'm sure you're familiar with. This one's quite safe sometimes. This one's really bad, just it's barely a pallet. And then on the library, we have a pallet that even though it's not super unsafe, once you drop it, there's not really an easy way out without balance landing. But now we get to the problem. There are 2 exits out of the library, and the issue that you can tell is that both of them lead to the same point. There's no real way to come here, so both of these exits are really one exit, which is this point right here. If I have an insta-down killer, I can come here and just rep my chainsaw or whatever, just wait right here and survivors can simply not get through me. There is very little they can do if you get a hook in the points that we've mentioned. Now, the first thing that survivors should do to avoid this situation is be extremely aware of the fact that there's so little safety here. As you can tell, there are not really any recyclable windows that you can use for long. If these pallets are gone, they are gone. If you are injured and you need to drop one to stay alive and not go down in this area, good, you should do that. But otherwise, be very mindful of wasting them, and if possible, take the hit and leave this area to avoid this situation in the first place. Sometimes it will be your teammate, or sometimes it will be unavoidable and you will find yourself in a situation where someone is hooked in the library. What can you do? Now, best case scenario, the person has a perk to unhook themselves or break the hook that they were in. That would be amazing. Second best case scenario, if you have the perk Reassurance from Rebecca, you can actually use it from below to let them be on the hook for 100 seconds, which can buy you a lot of time. Even if you don't have this perk, the most important thing you need to do is break the 3-gen. As you can see, we have a gen there, a gen there, and a gen here. This is very common. Sometimes you can even get 4 generators, right? So if the killer loses these generators, they will lose the game. If they lose even one of them, that will probably be enough. So work on whichever generator you can to pop it if the killer is camping. And even if you're fairly close, the killer will often have to leave and not commit to you, because if they do commit, then someone else can go for the rescue. Right. Now, what happens if you've done all of this and you still need to go for the rescue? How do you possibly do it, especially against a trapper or an insta-down killer? It's very, very difficult. The first thing that you might be tempted to do is to just get down and crawl through the trap or down yourself and try to pick yourself up with Unbreakable. Be very careful with the strategies. They can backfire big time. If the survivor on the hook has a little bit of anti-camp and you are close to them, but the killer is not, they don't get any anti-camp, and this could easily backfire or result in a snowball scenario for the killer. I think the correct play is to come to this part of the map, try to somehow use sprinters or whatever to come to the side of the map and threaten to enter through this door. The killer will have to do something about it. The killer will have to follow you. And when they do, you keep running and then threaten to drop down one of the drops. This one right here is open all the time. And at this point, if the killer does commit to you, you drop down. And either they leave you alone and you go back through the door, or they drop with you and then your teammate on the other side can go for the rescue. This is the real only way to deal with the situation, as far as I can tell, that can give you a shot at rescuing someone. Obviously, after you rescue that person, get the hell out as quickly as you can. If you have balanced landing, there's a pretty good spot to drop nearby. That is the only thing I can think of. Now, I don't want anyone to get the wrong impression. As a killer, you don't need to abuse this library hook and this whole strategy. If you remember that 3 and 4 gens spawn on this side of the map and you play into it well enough, you sometimes don't even need to spend even a single minute on the opposite side. And it can be really brutal for survivors. I'm going to show you a match of me playing Wraith with an add-on that showed me the intensity of the generators so I could see where they were being done, and you'll see just how absolutely brutal this map is for survivors when you play it right. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. That should be incredible. We should be incredibly lucky here. Okay, I see. I think I need to uncloak right here. That's perfect. I'm going to pretend to cloak towards her. Yeah, this gen cannot fall no matter what. Amazing. Kick it. And go for whoever's here now. Catch them from unusual angles whenever possible. Where the hell? Oh, she's above me. I think that might be a hit. That's amazing. I pretend to go for him, I go for that girl. If she's really smart, maybe. She has balance landing. Nah, she's not too smart, or at least not too aware. Super quick hook, and we go to the one up top. They're honestly pushing all of them, but we can probably hold them back. The fact that they haven't touched that in a long time is fantastic. If we lose one of the chances, it's not the end of the world, but I really prefer not to. She's walking, which makes me think she has an exhaustion perk. Yeah, that's amazing. This girl has nothing to do. She's gonna come back here. Okay, make sure we trap her in here. Do you have life? Hit and go back. Lara hasn't touched this gen, has she? Wait, it was on cooldown. Okay, no biggie. Let her go and... yeah, pretend to go elsewhere. Actually, maybe get a hit on Jig. And we should hear a scream in a second. There she is. She's gonna pre-drop this. Amazing. I love when having uncloak messes with survivor timings. She tried to stun me last second and failed miserably. Amazing insta down. We are on East Wing. This is the best of the two RPDs, and the main strength is to hold hooks like this one and hold all the gens around us. Which one's looking the most red? None of them over there have been really started by this girl. This is great. He used a medkit. They have several. No complaints. Check on this gen, maybe? There she is. Begin to uncloak. Stop unclocking, maybe. Should they have balance landing? Actually cut her off. That should be a hit, maybe? Do you think she beats me to the window? I don't think she beats me to the window. I think that's a hit. Make them run out of their medkits, and this will be a really hard game for them. Maybe I should have checked that. Keep in mind, sprint burst. That's still a hit. I think that was a massive waste, but time will tell. He's gonna drop it early this time. Panicked. Easy peasy. Let's go. What perks make the gens turn red the more you see it? It's not a perk. If that was a perk, it would be probably the strongest info perk in the game. It is an add-on. It's only available on Lesion and this killer. It has a different name. Does slightly different things, but... One quickie on... this girl, maybe? Okay, so Ada has started that gen over there. They really are understaffed. So... that was worth a risk, right? Spring drop too? Oh yeah, Bonnie guitar strings, true. Does have a big downside though. They started that gen but never finished that. Amazing. Hi Priest, thank you for the second subscription on YouTube, by the way. That's really kind of you. It should have been really easy, guys. But she has balance, so... Wait. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna cloak. Wait. Yo, that's a terrible idea. Okay, awesome. That hard wasted. If that gem pops on the right, we're... déjà vu. In fact, it might. Let's cloak. Go straight to the yellow gem. And now we have mini save the best for last. And every window block, but it's not a huge deal, maybe. Maybe it is, maybe it is. Really? I didn't realize this? Okay, that's kind of my bad, I think. We're wasting time here. Don't worry, get it out of the way, man. I am having a great day, thank you guys. I think I'm losing my grip a little bit on this game. Forget about the gen out there, we honestly can't afford to do much about it. This is a waste of our time. Waste of our time. What did he scream? Oh, he touched that. Huge. And there's no pallet nearby now. She doesn't understand that he's instant-unable and it's not going to protect him. Which is amazing for us. This pallet's gone too. Oh, wasted. Wraith or whatever. Huge. Second hook for him. We only have 5 hooks despite all this commotion. The biggest thing we've done so far, I'd say, is not the hooks. It's just deplete them on their medkits and any syringes they might have had, maybe. Okay. Oh, he was dead on hook. Amazing. Amazing. See, I would normally go to that gen and check it, but because I can see their progress, I am very confident. Huge. Okay, it's just a sprint burster, nothing else. That gen is more red than it should be. Fong is here, most likely. We go and give her a little love dab. If it's Ada, I mean, incredible. What the hell was that? That's one of the worst things you can do in this game. That's one of the second worst things you can do in this game. This Lara overestimates her skill. It's not her skill, it's the resources. I'll give you a little secret, chat. This map is not a skill map, it's a knowledge map and it's a resource map. If you have all the pallets on your side, then you hold on inches. If you don't, then you go down. If you obviously, before you even get to that point, you need to know where the pallets normally are. Or have a perk like Windows or whatever. Right? But yeah, it's honestly, it's something that you learn. It's not something that, oh my god, you need perfect timing, perfect understanding of the RNG. There's no real RNG in this map. Everything is super simple. This girl's killing herself. You guys see how good this build is? And he has perks that you often never, ever, ever see. By the way, I can camp her. Oh, she was second floor. I could camp her from there, but she's not. They may be starting that gen, but... okay. Sure. I think they're letting her die, but... oh, never mind. Quite surprising. I'm not worried about the gen here. I'm a little worried that they could go back and do that yellow gen, so. Let's go kill them all. Let's go sit on Hawk. She's exhausted now, which is awesome. If she doesn't stop running. Yeah, you probably should just run back where you came from. You remember that she had balanced landing, but she drops down and she's like, why didn't I get balanced landing? Because you touched the gen. So, yeah. You're never gonna see better value from the 4 perks that I have right now, man. Okay, last time we kick it. Oh my god, you're insane. Okay, well, they gave up. Fair enough. Oh, why did she touch the gen? I don't think she was aware that we were right next to her. But, I mean, I don't envy this, guys. This is a... It's a bad matchup, dude. It's a bad matchup. A killer with perfect info on the gens and pretty good stealth. Maybe they're not on full comms. You know. Occasional insta-down, which freaks people out. You occasionally lose the perks that they surely have, you know. Sprint burst, lithe, we saw those 2 perks at least. Balance landing. We saw those perks get countered. And you have nothing here, literally nothing. There's, like, in this side of the map, there's nothing else. There were 2 pallets on this side of the map, 1 above, so 3 pallets more or less. And now there's 1 useless window and 1 window that's not very good. That window's kind of useless. And that window over there by the drop is not very good. I'm not counting the extra pallet here because it's honestly a joke. Like, this pallet here can buy you like a few seconds, but this pallet's not something you can loop around. So yeah, East Wing, like on the East RPD, the west side is absolutely insane for killer. And notice that I lost 1 gen and I still have 3, which is super good luck. This map, I honestly think is one of the best maps in the game for killer if you're gonna play defending gens. Like, if you have a killer that cannot defend gens, that doesn't really have the stealth, that really suffers and can be led around the map, then, I mean, they're gonna pop 2 of those gens and then it's over. Or maybe just 1 if you get unlucky and you don't get 4. Oh yeah. Oh, you just want to get this over with? That's fine. She looks very cinematic. Oh, she looks kind of done with life. Alright, man. Alright. Fair enough. GG's. Oh, do you think maps are too small for gens? No, no. Like, you might think that this map is problematic from what I said, but the truth is, the east side is insane. Like, this part of the map is so good. There are pallets that are guaranteed to be there that are so good. So it's not like this map is completely worthless. It's that it's very oddly balanced. So this map just has bad design. If they added a little staircase here, or they move some pallets around, or they introduce, you know, a little bit of strength on the west side, but then make the east side a little bit weaker. Like, if they reshuffle the things, the map would be fine. But it's one of those maps that is licensed and they don't really tweak them too much. Sad times.